Okay. Good afternoon, boys and girls. Welcome. The first video I was showing you what shows that on a synoptic map it is summer. But now I'm moving on to show you a typical winter season. Winter season on a synoptic weather map. How do we see that it is winter season? Number one, we have got high pressure in the interior. Like for instance, if you look at A, there is high pressure, okay, in the interior. So that's number one. We have got high pressure in the interior. Okay, high pressure inland, or you can say interior, okay, or a continent, whichever way you put it. Okay, so there is high pressure in the continent. Okay, so as you can see, this is your A. There is higher pressure. To be specific, this higher pressure is Kalahari High. That is your Kalahari High. Kalahari high pressure. So we have got this in the interior. We have got high pressure in the interior. That's number one. You can help to determine whether it's winter or summer. So this is a typical winter condition. This is a typical winter condition. So you have got high pressure in the interior. That's the first thing. Number two, we look at the position of our high pressure system. Position of the high pressure system. Here I'm talking about our South Atlantic High, and South Indian High. This is the one that I'm talking about. So what will be their position? They move further north. They move further north because ITCZ is in the northern hemisphere. So we are saying now, because of the movement of our intertropical convergence zone in the northern hemisphere, our South Atlantic and our South Indian High, they change position. They move further north. Our South Atlantic and South Indian High, they move what? Further north. That's another thing that can help you to determine or to see that it is indeed winter season. So our high pressure systems, they move further north. Okay, they move further north. Okay, let me show you something as well. You can see here, this is our high pressure system of South Atlantic High. It has moved further north. You can see. The other thing that can also help you is the date. Number three is the what? The date. Check what we have here. It's telling you that it's 27 July 2021. 27 July 2021. So you can see that this is winter. July, this is winter. So that's a typical winter season. So we've looked at high pressure inland. Okay, high pressure inland, I think I can add where there's high pressure. I can say that there's too much subsidence. Okay, there's too much subsidence. There's a lot of sinking air in the interior. Sinking cold air. That's why we have got high pressure in the interior. That's why we have got high pressure inland in the interior continent, our Kalahari. There is too much subsidence in winter. The position of the high pressure system, South Atlantic and South Indian High, they move further north. They've changed their position now because of the shifting of our intertropical convergence zone in the northern hemisphere. Our ITCZ low pressure is in the northern hemisphere. That's why now our Kalahari is very active and there's too much subsidence. But we are saying now, with the movement of the ITCZ, it also affects the movement of the position of our South Atlantic and South Indian High, because they change the position in relation now to the movement of our intertropical convergence zone, which is they move further north. Okay, then the other thing we have talked about the debt. All right, let's talk about number 4. Number 4, we talk about the position of the cold front. Position of the cold front, position also of the mid latitude, okay, of the mid latitude. Okay, you can see our cold front is associated with the mid latitude. What is the position? You can see that it is very close to Cape Town. That's why in Cape Town it rains when it is cold. It rains in winter. So position of the cold front, it is close to Cape Town. Cape Town, which results in frontal rainfall. Frontal rainfall associated with the floods. We can have, it's also called, remember, it's also called very close to the cold ocean. Whatever the temperature drops a bit, what else happens? Strong winds, okay? Strong winds, floods, it's cold, strong winds. Of course, there can be thunderstorms as well. Of course, we are talking about all those things because there's unstable weather condition. You know how a frontal rainfall is formed. Obviously, there are two air masses of cold that is coming from the polar high. Okay, then we have got the warm that is coming from the subtropical high. They are separated by the polar front and the subpolar. So when they meet, they do not mix. So the warm from the subtropical high is uplifted. There's massive upliftment, which result in the buildup of clouds. Then we have rainfall in Cape Town during winter. It rains when it is cold. So this is also what helps you. We are saying now the position of the cold front mid-latitude close to Cape Town, frontal rainfall is floods, cold, then also strong winds. That's what happened during that time. So you can see from this the approach of the cold front through our mid-latitude weather conditions, okay, weather system. So that's what is happening. So that's another thing that you can also look at, okay. The other thing that you can also look at when it comes to winter, number 5, you look at the weather conditions in the interior. Weather conditions. Because there is too much subsidence, the weather conditions, that's another 5th one, because of too much subsidence. Can you see we have got clear skies in terms of cloud cover? There is clear and calm weather. Clear and calm weather. There is clear and calm weather conditions. Clear and calm weather conditions, which means there is what? There is no condensation. There is no rainfall. These are some of the conditions that you have in winter inland. Okay, let me just be specific to say inland. These are the conditions that we have inland or in the interior. Okay, inland or in the interior. I'm not going to talk about the invasion layer. I'm not going to talk about all that thing, but I just want to be as simple as possible. So you can see that we have got clear and calm weather conditions. You can see there is your H there. There is your H, which symbolize high pressure. Then also in winter, number 6, there is a coastal low. A coastal low ahead of the cold front. There is a coastal low ahead of the cold front. There is a coastal low ahead of the cold front. There is a coastal low ahead of the cold front. There is a coastal low ahead of the cold front. This is something that I'm talking about. Can you see the cold front? Then you've got a coastal low here. This is your cold front, then you've got your coastal low. That's what I mean. There is a coastal low ahead of the cold front. The coastal low we have got in summer and winter, but here in winter, to be specific, it will be ahead of the cold front. That's where we've got our coastal low ahead of the cold front. That's something that we have. Remember, we talked about the date. Can you check here? 1 June 2012. There's also 1 June 2012 there. There's 1 June 0106 2012. So this is how you can determine that it is what? Indeed winter season. So that's how you do it. Let me just restart again. So for your winter season, guys, we are saying number one, there is high pressure in the interior, which is your H here. High pressure in the interior. Can you see? There is an H which shows that high pressure in the interior. Remember, especially for the Great Gulf, in the interior we have got high pressure. There is too much subsidence. There's a lot of cold sinking air. Are we together? There's a lot of sinking air. There's too much subsidence. Okay, but in general, even to the Grecian, this applies to the Grecian 11 as well. So there is ash in the interior, which shows that there is high pressure. There's a lot of sinking air inland. Okay, then number two, we have talked about the position of the high pressure system. We are saying now in winter, our high pressure system, the South Atlantic and the South Indian High, they move further north. They are following the position of the intertropical convergence zone. So that's why they move further north, which means by them moving further north, now that's why you can see the cold front approaching closer to Cape Town, affecting or influence the weather conditions in Cape Town. The temperature drops. Of course, they are likely to have frontal rainfall, we are likely to have floods, we are likely to have thunderstorms, we are likely to have strong winds as well. So that's why it's affected. That's why in Cape Town it rains when it is cold, because our high pressure system, do not have any blocking effect. They have moved further north, you understand? And inland as well, there's too much subsidence. So rain is only received in Cape Town. That's what is happening, because our invasion layer is below the escarpment. So rain is only received in Cape Town during this winter season. That's another thing that we have talked about, the position of our high pressure system. Then the next thing is the date, guys. I talked about the date, 1 June 2012. This is in winter. In June is in winter. Then another thing, position of the cold front is close to the Cape Town. Position of our cold front, can you see? Our position of our cold front is close to Cape Town. That's how it influences the weather in winter. It rains when it is cold. That's what happens. Okay, what else did I talk about? Weather conditions. You can see the weather conditions. I'll show you with this one. It is clear and calm weather conditions because there is too much subsidency, because our inversion layer is below the escarpment. Hence, there is clear and calm conditions. No condensation, no rainfall. It's just clear and calm. That's what happens there. Okay. Then the other thing, what we talk about, the weather conditions, we have talked about them. The coastal low is ahead. The coastal low is ahead of the cold front. This is what I mean. The coastal low, this is the coastal low, is ahead of the cold front. You can see there's a cold front. There is the coastal low. It's ahead of the cold front in winter. That's how you also determine whether it's winter, because you see your coastal low, it is in front or ahead of the cold front. So this is how you can determine that it is a typical winter condition. So how you can determine whether it's this is a typical winter condition, just to add on, again, just going through it. Of course, I'm just going to go through all of them. We have said in summer, the date, low pressure inland in summer, okay, low pressure inland in summer, and in the interior continent, position of the high pressure. So you can see the difference between the two. So this is your summer, this is your winter. But this video specifically is about winter. Let me not mix the two. So this is your winter. I've shown you through the different question papers. Okay, so I'll show both two so that if you want to take a screenshot, you can be able to do that. Let me start with this one. This is your summer. You can see everything there. If you want to take a screenshot, this is how you can actually analyze or see whether it is summer. You can check here. You can take your screenshot. Same applies with the winter. You can do the same thing. So thank you so much. Goodbye.